Future mother-in-law called me stupid, and now I'm considering calling off the wedding. How do I approach the situation? I, 23 female, am engaged to John, 24 male. We've been together for 5 years. We want to get married in July 2025. I always thought that his family liked me because we get along well. He has 2 older brothers, 26 male and 29 male, who are both married. Honestly, I was very excited to have them all as my in-laws. They were always kind to me. Some important information. About a year ago, when I was scrolling on Instagram, I saw a profile that was kinda cringy, but in a cute way. It was an older woman's profile who shared inspirational quotes. I remember one particular post, and it was something along the lines of, "Only stupid people pretend to know everything. Don't pretend, just ask." Honestly, this quote changed me in a lot of ways. Before that, I was always worried that I might embarrass myself if I don't know something, and after reading that quote, I realized that if I always pretended that I know everything, then I'll miss out on actually getting to learn about things. So I decided to change my habits and start admitting that sometimes I genuinely don't know. Someone's talking about the war in Kosovo? Okay, sure, but first let me ask some questions so I can really understand what we're talking about. And I ask a lot of questions sometimes. I sometimes even open the Notes app and write in some questions that I later want to find answers to. These are my latest. 1. How does the time work in a black hole? 2. Why do some snails have shells and others don't? 3. What food is okay for ducks? 4. How do light bulbs work? The old ones with gas inside of them. And 5. Does everyone see colors the same? And how can we know that? Sorry for the long introduction, but it was kind of necessary for understanding what kind of person I am. I know that sometimes I might come across as annoying. Now on to the problem. His parents hosted a small barbecue last weekend, only for family. So it was the mum, 54 female, dad, 59 male, brothers, 26 and 29, and their wives, who were both 27. I was the last person who showed up because I had to work late. I entered the house, and when I was walking towards the back of the house into the backyard, I heard John's mum talking about me. To be honest, she wasn't talking, more like mocking me. I heard her say in a high-pitched voice, "How does the sun work? Where should I put the fork? Why does nobody like me? How do I wipe my ass?" I just stood there. I had this sinking feeling. I couldn't move, so I just stood there. And I heard them all laughing. One of the wives said, "I actually don't mind her always asking questions. I think it's cute." And it made me feel hopeful that they would say something like, "Yeah, sure, we're just playing. We love that." But none of them did. Instead, the mum replied, "It's not cute, she's just stupid." And after that, they laughed again. I heard John laughing too. My heart kind of broke in that moment because he didn't even say one positive thing. He didn't defend me. He just laughed. I quietly turned around and left the house. I texted John that I got sick and have to stay home. Now I'm wondering how I should approach this situation. We live together, and I've been sleeping in the guest bedroom for now, and I use the excuse that I don't want him to get sick from being around me. I can't ignore him forever, and I can't pretend to be sick anymore because it's been too long. I'm not sure how I proceed. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I'm considering talking to them about this, but I'm also worried that they won't be honest with me. I can't marry him if he really thinks that I'm stupid, but I also can't marry into a family who thinks so little of me. But maybe it was a joke, and I shouldn't take it so seriously. I'm so torn apart, and every day I convince myself a bit more that it's okay, and sometimes we should all laugh about ourselves. Now I feel like I'm just going crazy. I would really appreciate some advice. Edit. There are many comments saying that they cannot stand people like me. I agree that sometimes I can be a bit too much with the questions, but with that being said, I still think that I'm within reason. I don't do it around people I've just met. I rarely do it at parties or other gatherings. I usually do it with people who are close to me, who I think wouldn't judge me, or with people who specifically have knowledge about something and are willing to share it. If I'm a part of a conversation, I'm not rude and I'm not interrupting. I usually just ask 1 or 2 questions. If a discussion is about climate change, I'm not asking about monkeys, if you know what I mean. I'm also not a complete dumbass. I don't ask questions which generally would be considered dumb to other people. Those I just write in the notes and check answers later on the internet. I'm capable of reading, so I make good use of it, but after all, I still do ask questions a lot. I don't think that you're overreacting in this situation. I think it was rude of them to have been talking so much shit of you at a party that you were going to be at, especially when you could have walked in there at any time. I don't think you were eavesdropping at all. I don't think you were snooping on a conversation that you had no right to be in the area of. And even then, you'd be justified in, confronting your fiancé about. This is something that I would directly bring up with him and be like, hey, so just before I got to the party, I heard you guys talking shit about me, and I heard you not defending me. So what's going on with that? I want answers now. Why does no one respect me? And why do you not respect me enough to stand up for me? What's your problem? You're going to marry this guy. It's more than okay to be completely upfront about this with him. This is genuinely a hill to die on. I would die on this hill if I were in your shoes, OP. Confused at 63 says, they were laughing at you behind your back. If he says anything along the lines of, that's just how they are, get over it, it's not a big deal, you're too sensitive, anything that excuses their behavior, then he's really just asking you to accept it. He's asking you to give your permission for it to continue, and your silence is your permission for it to continue. If they can't say it to your face, then that tells you a world of information about what kind of people they are. If you want to see how things really are, confront them about it and see what happens. Their reactions will tell you everything you need to know about all of them and will be helpful in making such a big decision. It'll show you how they deal with conflict, which will be a good indication of what you'll be getting yourself into should you marry this guy. They will be a part of your life for as long as they are alive. You need to know if you can tolerate being a part of this family. And Not a Mummy says, OP, if he says they were just kidding, respond with, well, I'm not spending the rest of my life being the butt of the joke, and give him the ring back. This isn't going to get better if he does anything other than immediately apologize for everything, including not defending you. And Beck 2010 says, tell John what you heard. Tell him all of the things you heard. His reaction hurt you the most. Tell him that you cannot believe how cruel his mother was, and his laughter and failure to stand up for you was like a knife in the heart. Then ask him, why should I marry you? Someone who's comfortable laughing at me when they think I can't hear them. I ask questions to better understand something. The smartest person in the room is the person who knows they don't know everything and is not afraid to ask. When I heard everyone, all I could hear was ignorance, unkindness, a lack of grace, and no love whatsoever. How very graceful of you and your family to mock someone. Frankly, I'd call off the wedding. And OP comes back with an update and says, first of all, I wanted to say thank you to the people who reached out to answer my questions about black holes, snails, ducks, light bulbs, and other stuff. I would love to have you as my friends. For the other people who said that I should just shut up, I don't really care if you find me annoying or hard to be around. I'm okay with that. I don't exist to please everyone. I'm just here for a good time, have my own interests, and learn. I didn't expect my post to gain so much attention, but I'm so grateful for the advice. Most of you told me to break up with him, and at the very least, confront him. So that's what I decided to do. You gave me the push and confidence to do it. But before I did that, I texted the wife of John's brother, the one who said that she liked me asking questions, and I asked if we can meet up for coffee, and she said sure. We met, and I didn't see the point in pretending to her that I didn't hear their conversation, so after some small talk, I just said, I heard you all talking about me during the barbecue. She immediately got sad and said that she feels embarrassed. She explained that it wasn't a joke, wasn't out of context, that it was just mean and hurtful. She said she's sorry for not defending me more, but I said that it's okay and that I understand. I told her that I don't blame her for anything and just wanted to make sure that I understand the situation and see it for what it really is. And it really was laughing about me behind my back, just bullying. At this point, I just had to confront John. In my last post, so many comments were saying that he'll probably try gaslighting me. And you were right. We were having dinner together for the first time since the barbecue happened, because before, I tried my best to avoid him. Yes, I know, not very mature of me, but other than you guys, I don't really have a strong support system. My family and best friends are hundreds of kilometers away. I only have 2 good friends here. I was so stressed that I thought I was going to pass out. My legs were shaking, and I was terrified because I knew deep down that this is the moment when my 5-year relationship goes down the drain. I looked him in the eyes and asked, "How does the sun work?" He looked confused, so I followed with, "Where should I put my fork? Why does no one like me?" At this point, the realization hit him, and he started nervously laughing. I said I was there, and I heard them. After the initial shock passed, he got mad. He said it's rude to eavesdrop. I said it's rude to bully people. He tried telling me that it was just a joke, that I shouldn't be so uptight, that it really was funny. I said that I didn't find it funny and went to the guest room to calm down. He started panicking. He was asking me to please talk to him. He was much more apologetic and said that he'll be 100% honest with me. I asked if his mother had made similar comments before the barbecue. He said yes. I asked him if he ever defended me. He said he tries to, but I don't know if I believe him. He told me he loves me and respects me, but I don't know if I believe that either. I said that I love him too, but I need a break. He's all I've ever known. He was my first and only partner. I have no outside perspective of this. I have no experience. I need a moment to think. I'll be going to my friend's house for a while to think everything through. The apartment has his name on the lease anyway. After I gathered some of my things and left, he kept texting me non-stop. He tried calling, but I didn't respond. I was very hurt because he tried to belittle my feelings, and only later, when he realized that I might break up with him, started apologizing. The next day, I decided to give him another chance to explain himself, and I came back to the apartment. He seemed very sad and tired. He said that he told his mother that I overheard them. I said I don't care. It's his time to step up and show me that he cares. I'm not interested in an apology from his mother. I'm already done with her. I can't put up with this behavior and mocking me like we're in primary school. I saw a comment saying that probably her ego is hurting. I think that's true. She never got the chance or never had the desire to have an education. She's a very good homemaker, but outside of that, she doesn't have many interests of her own. If I'm asking her about making tomato soup, she'll be talking for 30 minutes, lecturing me about adding enough sugar, but not too much. She will lecture anyone who is willing to listen. But anytime someone is talking about something she's not familiar with, she gets defensive and tries to imply that nobody cares about that, and if it's not relevant to her, then it shouldn't be discussed. Once again, he tried telling me that I should relax because it was only a joke, and at this point, I had enough. I took off my ring and told him that his behavior is a joke and I can't be the punchline. I told him that I wish him and his family the best and to look in the mirror to check if they really are as superior as they think they are. I said I'm going to be back with my friends soon to pick up the rest of my stuff and to not contact me again unless it's about moving my things out. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for the advice. Without you, I wouldn't have had the confidence to leave this man. I know I deserve better. I can't be with someone who can't stand up for me, and I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around his family, so I'm done with the relationship. I hope they'll treat his next girlfriend better. Thank you again, Reddit, for advice. A deleted comment says, quote, "He said it's rude to eavesdrop." Lamau, the audacity of this man. You are so rude for listening to the shit we were talking about you in the house you were in. The irony of him and his garbage family calling you stupid when he tried to pull this insane nonsense is priceless. Your instincts are completely right, and you clearly are a smart girl with a good head on your shoulders. I'm also a person who loves learning about the world, and I promise you can find plenty of people who will cherish and admire your curiosity. Your fiancé absolutely failed the one job he's supposed to do, defend and protect your wife. I'm glad you can see this. Wise Investigator says, "I tried to defend you," is the weakest excuse. Defending your spouse is an act, not a result. All you have to do is do it. Do or do not, there is no try. And another comment from OP, My ex texts me multiple times a day. After I get all of my things back, I will block him immediately. But the pattern of behavior is almost the same every day. In the morning, I receive a very long message that he is so sorry, and when I don't reply, it slowly starts to anger him, so in the evening, it's much more passive-aggressive, and basically the last message of the day is usually something like, "You can't take a joke, you should grow some balls, you're lost, bitch." And then the next morning, the cycle starts again, and he's sorry about the message he sent before, and that he didn't mean to. Pretty exhausting, to be honest. But it doesn't hurt me as much as I thought it would. Even though I'm still not over him, and I still love him, his behavior continues to show me that I made the right decision. Yeah, you made the right decision, OP, I agree with that. He is unhinged. He was not someone that was ever going to support you as well, because look at his response to being broken up with, when it was the consequences of his actions. No self-awareness, no change of behavior, just blaming you and saying that you should grow some balls. Very interesting fella, that one. There's another update. So it's been some time since I posted the last time, so I thought that I'm going to give you guys a small update, because some people still keep messaging me, and I appreciate all the kind words. So, I've got my own apartment now. I lived with my friend for a while, and she was an amazing support for me after the breakup, but now I have my own place closer to my university and work. Turns out my ex-fiancé didn't tell his family that we broke up. I blocked them all except for the ex and sister-in-law, because we needed to keep in touch in order to get my stuff from the apartment that we shared. And a week after the breakup, she texted me and asked when I'll come to the parents' house because everyone wants to apologize. I called her and said that we are no longer together and I don't really want their apology. She seemed shocked because my ex was telling them that we're fine, she just needs some time. Ex-sister-in-law told me that the family is still fighting over this whole ordeal and that the brothers are giving my ex a hard time about the situation. I told her nicely that I don't really want any updates. I like her, but I cannot put my energy towards following their every move. She told me she understands. I don't know what happened after that with them. I'm happy. I went on a date with a cute guy that I met in a cafe, but I'm taking everything slow, and I don't want to rush any relationship. I'm not ready because just 3 months ago, I was planning a wedding, and right now, I'm single and focusing on studying and work. When I graduate, I want to adopt a kitten, and that's my only goal in terms of any big commitment right now. I also enrolled in CS 50 by Harvard X, and I recommend you all try to learn something new today. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer in the comments. Flyganosk says, "Hey OP, nice update. First of all, glad that you're doing okay and that you have a place for your own. Keep moving, and leave all of this in the past. Just learn from this and end that chapter for good. As for your ex, this shows you the lack of guts he had, and even to avoid more problems, that he lied to them. What a piece of shit, but what could you expect from someone with a mother like that, huh? May I ask if you've already gone and picked up your stuff from his place and blocked him for good? I hope so, for you to end that chapter more easily. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and hope that your uni will end soon for you to adopt the kitten. I wish you all the best." OP replies, "Yeah, after a week and a half, I was done picking up my stuff. I tried not to be petty and take my silverware, for example, and not give him a reason to get mad. I didn't want to come alone, so I only went when my friend had the time to help me. He did get mad when I took my air fryer. He loved it more than anything. I blocked him after I took everything that was mine. I think even though the brothers still think what the family said during the barbecue is funny, they're giving my ex a hard time because he let a good one go, or something like that. They don't think that they were in the wrong, but they're making fun of him for not standing up for me, and they're laughing at the fact that I broke up with him, and he didn't even have the balls to tell them. One of them even said that if someone called his wife stupid, he would defend her even if she had done something dumb." Holiday says, "Seems like you moved on very easily, from love to engaged and then blocked within a few weeks." OP replies, "Yeah, the love faded really fast. I didn't expect it. The attachment to him is still there, but I very quickly stopped feeling love for him when I fully realized that he sees me as stupid and, at the very least, not on his level." It's so funny to me that the brothers even pointed out that they would defend their wives in this situation. Oh my god, OP, you really dodged a nuclear missile there. The family may be full of assholes, but at least some of them are self-aware assholes. Interesting that your husband lacked the self-awareness to even see what he was doing was detrimental. And you know what? Thank God he didn't have the brain to defend himself and gaslight you in this situation to be like, actually, you didn't understand the situation right. What was actually happening in front of your eyes? You didn't hear me laughing out of agreement. You heard me laughing out of disagreement, actually. Yeah, that's what happened, really. Thank you for sharing your story with us, OP, and what do you guys think of this one down in the comments below? I'd love to know. Our next post is by user CriticalT7549, and it's titled, I hired my daughter's ex as an intern. Am I the asshole here? When my, 57 male, daughter, 21 female, was in high school, she started dating a guy, 22 male, who at first glance made me a little bit nervous. He had that stereotypical popular jock look, the type you might expect to be a player or not take relationships seriously. As a dad, I naturally wanted to protect my daughter, but I was completely wrong about him. Despite his outward appearance, he turned out to be a genuinely kind and respectful young man. He was polite, always using yes sir and no ma'am, and he had this boyish, goofy charm that everyone found endearing. He treated my daughter well and was always respectful of our family and had a sweet personality. While he wasn't the strongest academically, he worked hard and always gave his best. I even helped him out with his homework a few times because I could see how much effort he was putting into it. I'll admit, I really liked the kid, and so did the rest of the family. My wife, my son, and even my daughter's mother, my ex-wife, really liked him too. He was a good boyfriend to my daughter, and I felt comfortable knowing she was with someone who cared about her. Eventually, they broke up when they were about 15 or 16. It wasn't a messy breakup. From what I understood, it was mutual. My daughter was understandably sad, and we did everything we could to support her through it. But she actually moved on pretty quickly, and we all kind of left it in the past. Fast forward to a few months ago, I got a LinkedIn request from him, and it brought a smile to my face. It was nice to see what he was up to, especially since he struggled a lot in school. It turns out that he's now studying marketing at a really good university in our country. I was genuinely happy for him because it seemed like he found his niche and I could see he was doing well. Then I saw that he was looking for an internship. He needed to complete 500 hours of professional experience to graduate, and I didn't hesitate to reach out. I told him that if he needed company, mine would always have a spot for him. We ended up catching up and he told me about his new girlfriend, so he's moved on. Long story short, he ended up sending me some excellent recommendations from his professors, so I offered him a position in our PR and communications department as a social media intern. He's been an amazing addition to the team. He's come up with great ideas, worked hard, and you can tell he genuinely loves what he's doing. Seeing him all grown up after knowing how much he struggled back in the day has been really heartwarming. But here's the problem. My daughter recently found out about it through TikTok of all places. He appears in some of the company's videos, and she was mad. She called me a terrible father and said that it was inappropriate for me to hire him. Now, it's not like she ever has to see him. She is studying abroad in Belgium, and we live in a Latin American country, so they won't even cross paths. My wife, my son, and my ex-wife have reassured me that I didn't do anything wrong. From my perspective, I hired him purely based on his qualifications and work ethic. He's a temporary intern who plans to continue his studies abroad once he graduates, so this isn't a long-term situation. But my daughter's reaction has made me second-guess myself. I've always prioritized her well-being and want to make sure that I'm not overlooking something. Maybe I'm too detached, because when I was younger, I stayed on good terms with some of my ex's families, and I didn't see it as a big deal. I really care about my daughter, and I don't want her to feel like I'm prioritizing someone else over her. But at the same time, I want to be fair and give credit where it's due, especially when someone is working hard and making something of themselves. I would really like to hear any outside perspectives. I think the reason I side with you on this one is because your daughter blew up at you and then didn't specify why what you did was wrong. Just, oh my god, you hired my ex-boyfriend. How dare you? End of story. That makes me think, the world revolves around me. You need to do exactly what I tell you to do, and I'm not going to give you a reason why. And for sure, you could have asked her what the big deal was, but it doesn't seem as though, given the context of that conversation, that was possible at the time, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to say not the asshole because it doesn't seem like you actually did anything wrong here. Blue Green says, not the asshole. Your daughter discovered that the world didn't actually revolve around her, and she was shocked. You did nothing wrong. Keep this young man and let him finish out his internship. Ghost says, the world not revolving around her is the understatement of the year. That was a very apt way of stating it. Ocean Breeze says, hearing from him brought a smile to your face, yet for months you didn't even mention it to your daughter? You didn't tell her at all? Clearly, you two don't have a very close relationship. That you hired him without even mentioning it to her is mystifying. That she found out months later through TikTok, ouch, doesn't do your relationship any favors. You should fully realize by now that as a parent, we did not see what some of their teen friends, boyfriends or girlfriends were really like. We just saw the surface stuff. You have no idea why they broke up or what went on in their relationship. What does it matter what your wife, ex-wife, or son think? They didn't date him. Your daughter knows him best. The way you were so glowing about him, while she obviously has a different opinion, yikes, would have made things even worse when you two talked. You truly want a different perspective? You made a huge mistake not telling her when you heard from him, and also when deciding to hire him. Your only connection to him is her. Yet her opinion of him didn't matter to you at all. You couldn't even be bothered to tell her about him. Eesh. You totally prioritized him over her. She's not another employee, she's your daughter. Would urge you to tell your daughter. You should have told her that he reached out to you about a job. And the Patriot replies, this, any normal parent, or even any normal businessman would talk to his daughter first and check out the dude's rep again. Now that his daughter was grown, maybe she would have really opened up about his past misgivings. Just because he appears to be charming does not mean that he's not a psycho. You're the asshole. And OP comes back with an update and says, I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. I really appreciate the advice and different perspectives that helped me think through the situation. A lot of you suggested that I have an honest conversation with my daughter to see if there was something deeper going on, and I took that advice. I ended up calling her to talk things through. I asked her if there was something about the breakup that I didn't know about, or if something had happened that would make her uncomfortable with him working for me. I told her that she can be completely honest with me because I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, and if there was a valid reason, I was open to addressing it. Turns out, the situation was a lot less complicated than I thought. My daughter admitted that there wasn't any lingering issues between her and her ex. In fact, she reiterated what I already knew, that the breakup was mutual and drama-free. What came out during the conversation was something completely different. Apparently, she's been dating a new guy from the United States for about 2 weeks. She said that when she saw her ex in the company's TikTok videos, it made her nervous because she didn't want things to get weird with the new guy if he found out that her dad was still in contact with her ex-boyfriend. She said that Americans are different in that sense. Those were her words. You guys tell me if it's true. Basically, she was worried that her new relationship could be affected if the guy she is seeing thought that there was still some kind of connection between her and her ex through me. But when I pressed her about whether her ex had done anything wrong, or if there was any actual issue that would justify me not hiring him, she admitted there wasn't. Her main concern was her new relationship and how it might look. I get that she's navigating a new relationship, but to expect me to turn down a great intern, who's been nothing but hardworking, because she's worried about optics with a guy that she's been seeing for 2 weeks, seems pretty unreasonable. I don't think it's fair to penalize him or limit his opportunities just because of that. I explained all of this to her as gently as I could, and she admitted that she might have overreacted. I reassured her that this internship was a temporary situation and that she would likely never even have to interact with him, especially with her living abroad. I also apologized for not asking her first about her thoughts on me hiring him. I thought it really didn't matter. From my point of view, I was just hiring a great professional based on qualifications and work ethics, but comments made me see how I could have been the asshole for not telling her. And she told me that it's okay. Because of Blue says, how is everyone reading this post and then commenting that the new boyfriend is insecure and the problem? He doesn't even know the situation's going on. He is oblivious to everything according to the story. OP's daughter made like 5 assumptions and is somehow the good person in this, and the boyfriend is the insecure one? A Touch of Trouble says, it's not like the ex was going over every Sunday for dinner with the parents and attending holiday events. He literally needed an internship, knew someone in that field, and asked if there was an opening to apply for. Unless he keeps mentioning the daughter or starts trying to slide in her DMs, then there's nothing to worry about. The Final Filter says, I really wish people would understand that just because you break up with someone doesn't mean that people have to drop that person as well. I mean, in certain situations, I can see why they would want that, but this was high school relationship that ended mutually. Yeah, people blaming the boyfriend when he had no idea what's going on is some insanely 4D chess kind of thinking to blame the man in this situation, huh? But no, it just turns out that the daughter was overthinking the situation and making a mountain out of a molehill. I'm glad that things got sorted out, but hopefully this is a lesson for her to not overthink things so hard and openly communicate why you're feeling what you're feeling, not just scream at someone and say how dare you and then hang up. Very much childish way to communicate with your father and try to ruin something over a complete non-issue. Thank you for sharing the story with us, OP. And anyway, guys, what do you think about this one? Let me know down below. Let's get on to the next story now. This one's posted by user IHeartYou2, titled, I, 38 female, think my marriage to my husband, 42 male, is over. I need help. My husband and I have been together for 16 years. We have 2 kids. It's mostly been a good relationship with normal ebbs and flows. The past year has been pretty difficult on my end, and I think I've reached my breaking point. I just want to make it clear before I start that my husband is a good man and I do love him. I've been a stay-at-home mum for most of our marriage. It was out of necessity rather than desire on my part. My husband was working at building his business, and we needed the flexibility of me being home. I had a job I loved, but I didn't make much, and it just made sense at the time. I also homeschool our children because it works well for us. I did all the normal stay-at-home mum stuff, dinner, cleaning, laundry, bills, etc. He did help when needed, and was never resentful of it. He worked very long hours, and lots of weekends, but I supported him because owning his own business was his dream. About 3 years ago, I started to feel some fatigue from being the primary caregiver of our children. I wanted more, and our business was pretty stable, so we agreed that I'd go back to school. Our children are old enough now that schooling them is less hands-on, so again, it made sense. I graduated with my 2-year degree last year and started nursing school shortly thereafter. This is when things started to get rough. Nursing school is a total time suck. It requires so much time and so much energy. We discussed the shifting of responsibility and how difficult this was going to be on all of us, and he said he was supportive. He started making snide comments about things he was doing at home, things I had always taken care of, things that I guess he just didn't realize I did. I tried to communicate with him, see what could be done to make things easier on him for this transition. He's not a good communicator though, so I didn't push, which was a mistake on my part. The comments started getting more frequent and meaner. We've never been mean to each other before. It's just not how we fight, or rather, hasn't been how we fight. He started getting resentful of the time that I was up at school or volunteering, as I do volunteer quite a bit. Summer came, and I thought things would get better. I got a job where I work a few days a week from 7 to 7. I love my job so much, and it's really nice to finally be able to contribute to our income. It's really empowering. Over the past few months, I've become a lot more independent. Historically, I've needed my husband a lot. I had some really serious depression after our kids and I couldn't do much without him, like go to the doctor or grocery shop or whatever. Over the past 5 years, I've gotten that under control. Through nursing school, I've made a lot of new friends that I like to spend time with. We grab quick dinners and sometimes head to the movies. This apparently bothers my husband, though he's never actually verbalized it. I started coming home for an activity, volunteering, or a night out with friends to rage on his part. He would yell at me, call me names, say horribly hurtful things. He went through and read my text messages, trying to find something I'm doing wrong. My friend group is mixed female and male, and most are younger than I am. When I come home, I never know how he'll react. Last night was pretty bad. He stopped replying to my random "I love you" texts, and this morning didn't bother to say it back. He's hanging up on me, he's ignoring me, he's treating me really badly, he twists my words and ascribes them emotions that I'm just not feeling. I feel like I'm dying inside. Any self-esteem I've gained from following my dreams, he's crushing. While I don't think he's abusive, I feel a lot like I did when I was in an abusive relationship. Walking on eggshells, trying to test the room when I walk in, afraid to do anything that might upset him, being overly nice so that he'll be nice back. To be clear, I'm home most nights. I might go out with friends once a week or twice, but once is during the day, like this week. Sunday, I went to dinner with a friend that was leaving for New York the next day. I was gone for around 2 hours. Monday, I was home. Tuesday, I was working all day, then went up to school for midnight registration. Wednesday is my weekly volunteer day, and whoever is volunteering goes out for food after for about an hour. Today, I'm working a short shift. Tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, I am home. I'm just done. I'm so tired of feeling badly about myself, like I'm doing something wrong. I've tried to talk about all of this 1,000 times. I never fight back when he's yelling at me or calling me names. I've suggested counseling, as I'm going to therapy myself, but he's not interested. The problem is, I don't want my marriage to be over. I love him, and I promised him forever. I don't break my promises. I just want things to go back to where they were a year ago. I need help. Thanks in advance. It just sounds like he is pissed off that he can't control you anymore, and as though you are not dependent on him. And that is obviously a problem for him. But that's a problem that abusers have when the people they abuse start getting freedom. That's not at all a normal person reacting in a normal way. Like, that's only what abusers do. As tough a pill that is to swallow, and you not wanting to break promises, if you can't break through to him with counseling, therapy, honest and open communication, talking about how his actions and words are affecting you, he doesn't want to change, he doesn't show change, you have to protect yourself and your child. Like you genuinely don't have any options besides doing something about it or rolling over and accepting his treatment of you. It's grim, it's harsh, but that's just the reality of the situation. He's changing in ways that are not healthy. He's revealing a much darker side of himself under that mask that is slipping. Deleted says, "You need to hold your ground on this. This is abuse. He needs to openly discuss and admit that you being independent is bugging him. Now he's just allowing it to build up to the point that divorce will be your only option. He needs to discuss either openly with you or go to counseling. If not, there is no way to recover." OP replies, "Thanks for your reply. He does tell me that my independence bothers him. He feels like I don't need him anymore, or that I'll be okay without him. Which I would, as he would without me. But he won't do anything to resolve these feelings or communicate what I can do to reassure him that I do still need him. It's one of those, I don't need you to save me, I need you to stand by me while I save myself type of things. And he's just not okay with that." Deleted replies to that, "That's a problem that he has to find a solution to. Let him know that you won't allow him to constantly put you down. This isn't the 1980s anymore. My girlfriend just started her own business, and I couldn't be more proud of her. We just made her business cards yesterday. Any chance you can show him how much you two can benefit from your extra income? Plan a nice trip away, allow him to relax, and then you come back and you state that all this hard work on both our ends allows for better things in life." And OP comes back with an update and says, while my original post didn't get a ton of feedback, I thought I'd update. About a month after I posted, I asked him for a separation. He agreed, I moved out, and I've got my own place now. I thought maybe moving out would be the wake-up call that was needed to save the marriage, but it wasn't. However, it turned out to be the best thing for all of us. We share custody of our children, and they transitioned to public school and are doing very, very well. I'm doing pretty well too. It's been hard, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's been worth it. We are all so much happier now, and my ex and I are working really well together to co-parent our kids, and we're even friends. We'll always be there for each other, but we're better off apart. Not the happy ending that I was hoping for, but a happy ending nonetheless. Spooge McDuck says, good for you. Happy endings are when people are happy, not necessarily staying together. And OP replies, it took me a while to realize this, but it's exactly right. Mount Wiener says, speaking as a child of divorce, happy single parents are better parents together than miserable married ones. I'm glad that it turned out that the difficult choice was the right one for your family. Best of luck. And OP replies, thank you. Thank you. My kids were one of the biggest considerations in deciding to leave. I want them to be strong and be good advocates for themselves, and I figured the best way to do that was to model it myself. I hope I did what was best for them. It's a big fear of mine. I think you did the right thing there, OP. I think if he is actually better off divorced and dealing with his own shit himself and happy, that's a best case scenario. You really don't want to drag an unhappy, resentful, spiteful partner through a marriage that doesn't need to be there when, you say it's for yourself, but you also say it's for the kids. I don't know, a lot of people in situations like that really need to just accept the reality that their partner just being an overall net negative and making your life worse and making your kids worse is not going to be solved by you sticking out the relationship and you trying to work on it with them if it's obvious they're not going to work with you to be better. That's my 2 cents. It's something I'm going to repeat ad nauseum because we keep seeing examples of it and it's infuriating. But whatever, thank you for sharing your story with us, OP. That really sucked in the first half, and I'm glad that it didn't go downhill even faster after asking for separation. I feel like that is a rare thing to have achieved here. So thank you for the story. And what do you guys think? Have you seen similar situations yourself? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's where I'm going to end the episode today, guys. Thank you for listening to the end. It was a bit of a longer one, but I do love long episodes, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.